we might have some technical issues, but still we are going to record it. So once again, hi, welcome to our webinar, second in the series, but we are going to discuss it a little bit later. And now, just to start with, just a second. Because today it started to snow in Kharkiv. Maybe it has already melted, but just a few hours ago it started to snow. I think it's high time to choose your Christmas tree. So in our chat, you can choose the Christmas tree you think fits your mood or fits your personality. Please choose the number. Mm-hmm. 4 is the most common one, it seems to me. Okay, yeah, 4, the fourth and the second are the most common ones, and 6. So there are some people who like traditional Christmas trees and have chosen the first one, but most people have decided to choose something nice and interesting. Now you have some ideas. You can start preparing, and by the time Saint Nicholas comes, you can already have some ideas or some things to organize the Christmas tree like that, the one that you like, the one that you want to have in your house. So hope it helps us to understand, to get into the mood of our webinar today. And now the second question is, so we are having a series of zero prep English language teaching materials. I would say zero, almost zero, and we are to have 3 webinars, classes wanted to say: teaching creatively, assessing effortlessly, and engaging instantly. So 1 we have already had, 1 you will be able to attend on Friday. And which letter will you choose for today's webinar? So choose the correct letter, A, B, or C. If you remember what we had on Monday, if you read carefully the poster, okay, we have option A. Only 1 for now. Okay, we have so many options. A, let's check. You are quite right. Today we are going to talk about teaching creatively and different zero preparation materials to teach different skills. So here is the topic once again. We hope we will provide you with a lot of ideas for the classes to make them nice, effective, and not burdensome for you as a teacher. We want to remind you that our series of webinars is conducted on the basis of Skovroda Hub, which is the regional center of blended education, and you can visit their website or check out the recordings of some other different webinars on their YouTube page. And as usual, the webinar is conducted by me, Oleni Chehratova, and my colleague, Oleni Chухно, who will have some fun with you today, but a little bit later. So we are going, as we are talking about skills, we are going to talk about speaking tasks, listening tasks, reading tasks, and writing tasks. But don't worry, somewhere in the middle, you will have an opportunity to have some rest. So let's start with answering the questions. Why should we go zero prep? We usually have a book. We have even some teaching resources. We can find something in the internet. Why should we care about zero prep? You can write your ideas in the chat. So there might be some pluses to it and some minuses. We are going to discuss the pluses, definitely, but still, why should we do it? No ideas. So we can just take the book and move from a task to a task to a task. Alexandra?
There are several possible reasons. The first one, you can get prepared for your lesson, but it won't be by your plan. So you will need to change it. So secondly, level of creativity. On-spot decisions, zero prep are the most creative. So much fun.
Yeah, thank you. We have in the chat the element of surprise, which is kind of the same. Paulina, why have you lowered your hand? You had an idea.
Yes, yes, I wanted to say that there are always such contingencies may happen, and for teacher, it's important to, I don't know, to can engage your students without preparations.
Yeah. In the chat, we also have the answer that resources must be reliable. But if we use the book or teaching materials that are provided by the that are connected with the book, they might be reliable. They should be reliable in most of the cases. It's not that we find something in the internet. And to integrate some inactive students. Oh, yeah, quite agree with your ideas. Thank you. So first of all, it saves time because we all do know and understand that sometimes we just need a little bit more time, or we don't have enough time and we need to save it. So zero prep can save you time, especially if you prepared. If you have prepared before something and you can use it, it can definitely save you time. It can be flexible, it can be adaptive, because you have prepared something and then you understand that it doesn't work. So you can easily change it. Maybe not that easily, but you can change it. It promotes real communication in cases when we have these communication activities. It encourages creativity. It is material light, meaning that sometimes you can just find, I don't know, a pen that is lying on your table and you can create some tasks that are connected with it. And it engages a lot of people because it might be fun. It's cooler than just talking about the book. On the drawbacks of this topic, we need teacher to be confident in whatever he or she is doing, and sometimes it happens that it doesn't work. So you have created it almost without preparation. You have created this activity. You think that, yay, now in 5 minutes my students will be swept away from their feet because my activity is so cool, and it doesn't work. And it also happens. So you need to be able to read the room, read the classroom, read the group, understand what is happening. So not always you can use these materials. It can be unpredictable. That is the point of it. It's difficult to assess it because it's more about creativity than about just some formal ideas. It is not Sometimes it's not suitable for particular groups for different reasons. We're not going to discuss all of them now. Not everyone can participate on equal terms, but we are trying to find this balance all the time. Again, teacher needs to manage it very well. It's not just filling the gaps in the task, and it may cause anxiety both for teacher and for learners if something goes wrong. But still, if we observe the class, the group, well, we understand what their needs are, how we want to interact them. We personalize what we have in mind. We personalize the tasks in the book, yet again, and we simplify everything that we want to give. It's going to work out well. But now let's look at the different tasks we might find. So first, we are going to discuss reading activities. From my perspective, it's the easiest thing that you can do with zero prep because you already have some text. Let's imagine the situation that you have a textbook, you have this text, and then you either don't like the activities that are there in the textbook, or you want to add something something new, some sparkles, then you can easily start with text explosion, meaning that you can do quite a lot of activities without additionally preparing handouts, cards, activities on the whiteboard. You just take what you have and work with it. The easiest option here is that, where is it? We can predict something, sentences, episodes, ending, whatever. Prediction always works here well, but based on the text, because we are talking about reading activities, meaning that they have already read something, and now they need to predict something. The next piece, I'll go here. I love this. You can make your students find something. For example, some synonyms or antonyms to whatever is given here in the text. And it's not that you have to prepare these synonyms or antonyms. You can ask your students to find some synonyms, and someone else will try to find this word. You can ask your students to find some pairs, like adjective plus noun, and we will learn what adjective and noun is. Or, for example, word plus noun, or any other structure you want to practice. And if they can find this adjective, let's say plus noun, then we can move a step further and we can ask them to change the adjective and make their own some synonyms or antonyms or stories connected with those pairs. So the easiest thing you can do with the text, and it can take quite a lot of time, and you can practice vocabulary that you have already learned, that you are learning now, and it will be a fun and engaging way if you can activate everyone into this activity. What else we have here is like, you can take the text and it would be easier to do something from the text, not from the text from a school book, textbook, but from some article, for example. You can sentence sort. So it will take you some time. It's not completely zero prep. You will have to cut or at least list or mix the sentences, but it can take you like 2 minutes, maybe. You will spend more time searching for the text you actually need than mixing it up. For example, here I have, what should I do? There is a text on LinkedIn about myths about sport. So when we are learning the topic of sport, for example, it's easy to mix it because it has titles. It has some stories. We can mix them. We can make students find the correct titles because you have the correct paragraph, or vice versa, or you can mix the words in the paragraph and have like 5 different activities with one and the same text. Plus, it's kind of a task from a real life source, so it might be more interesting, and then you can discuss whether you agree or disagree and so on and so forth. So it might be like a nice task to have. Getting back to what we have here, another activity connected with headlines is headline generator. It's like connected with the previous one when you sort out the sentences and make students find the paragraphs for these headlines. You can do approximately the same thing. You can provide the headlines, ask the students to predict the text. The students can predict their own headlines. The point here, let's look at this example. I love articles from The Guardian because I just love it. Why? And what should I know? Oh, okay. No, you are not going to look at it because for some reason, maybe they have blocked me. Now you will have to believe me on that. There was a text, an amazing one, about, no, you can see it. So this is a text about 12 doctors who talk about everyday dangers. And with this text, once you have found it, you can do 10 different activities. For example, you can take away the professions of these doctors and try and ask people to ask students to guess the profession based on everyday danger they discuss. You can again sort out the sentences or try to make them find the correct headline or what is the biggest fear here. So again, almost without preparation, it's like almost without preparation, you cannot skip it entirely, unfortunately, this particular one, but you can do it. So if you have topic of medicine, that is an amazing text. Remember about it. I love it because it provides a lot of opportunities for us to create different activities. Some other tasks that we can discuss here is read the room. Maybe it will work better in offline classroom. It will definitely work better in an offline classroom because students can read objects, meaning titles, I don't know, logos on somebody's t-shirt, book titles, any names of stationery, whatever they can find. So they need to ramble, need to search, need to be creative in finding something to read, and then they have to report what they have found. You cannot do it all the time, unfortunately, because maybe if you work in one and the same classroom, there will be not too many things to read, but as an additional task, you can actually adapt it into all the other possible options. It's not only about reading some particular title, but searching for something and then creating a story out of it. And if we are talking about these activities, zero prep materials activities, in most cases, we cannot separate them, that will be only a reading activity or that will be only a writing activity. There might be quite a lot of different options. So you can combine. The next activity is about switching the genres, and it's amazing. So you can read a story that is already in your textbook and then make students create some other stories that is to the question of speaking or writing the next. So the stories with the same characters or settings or events, but it should be, let's say, horror or fairy tale or science fiction. What is more, you can get prepared beforehand, a little bit prepared beforehand, and create something like an activity or a table or a poster that you can use with almost all of your classes, with no matter like which level you're having or which group of children you're having. Here we need to roll the dice, and because I have only 4 lines here, you can see that the points here is the 1 and 5, 2 and 6, but we can make more. And then when we roll the dice, for example, the first group has to not choose, but get the character. So the story they are going to get is about the character who is an object. We can be a little bit more specific and create the object. That should be a pen or a table, and the table will be the main character of the story. We can give them some options for creativity, and they can choose whatever they want. Then we will roll the dice again, if you can see it rolling, and we will choose the dice. Again, we'll choose the relationship between characters. Here it will be a slave and an owner. This is just an example. You can add something that will be more suitable for your classes in general. Make it as generalized as possible, because it's like one-time preparation using a lot of different things. That's all necessary. Then we choose the plot line. For some reason, it's always 3 here today. So it will be unraveling clues, and so on and so forth. You got the gist, you got the idea. So not only switching the genres or switching the characters or one event that is already provided, you can switch completely, change the whole course of what was given there in the book, and have some fun without actually preparing too many materials for one particular class. The next thing, we have already discussed it. Let's move to paraphrasing. It's just quite understandable. The question here will be more about how to monitor this paraphrasing, or when we ask students to paraphrase, what will be the outcome of what we want to achieve. And then again, we can work in the groups or pairs and try to find some like paraphrasing with, let's say, a piece of information that was not given in the text, or something that is wrong, so some other students can pick up what was wrong in this paraphrased part, in this paraphrased text, and so on and so forth. And 1 minute reading circles, it's like, again, if it is a big text that you have to find beforehand, then every person will read just a short piece of it for, let's say, for 1 minute. If the text is too big or the students need a little bit more time to read the paragraph you want them to read, you can obviously take a little bit more than 2 minutes. And then they share the information, make questions, predictions, so on and so forth, all the other things that we were talking before, but they will have this option of challenging task, and challenges are always nice, so everyone might have fun with it. Moving to the next piece. Is about speaking. I combined them here just because in the previous part about reading, we were talking about some activities in which you have to start, or you integrate reading and speaking, like it usually happens. And here we are going to discuss additional activities. Again, we'll start with almost zero prep. Almost zero prep means that you have prepared something that you can use in most teaching contexts. For example, when I was preparing that, it hasn't started to snow yet, but for some reason I offered 2 options about Christmas here, because Christmas is like one of the common topics for all the classes, all the years, all the students, everyone loves it. Let's discuss it. So you can create a set of cards, for example, for each for different level, for different groups. Here it was like for taboo or for alias. For example, you have a set of cards with names that they have to explain. Or you have a set of cards. This is actually a taboo game. Maybe you cannot see it very well, but the picture was very beautiful here. So we have word mistletoe, the ones the students are to explain, but they are not allowed to use words like kiss, plant, tradition, Christmas, and green. And they have to work out it somehow. The point is, nowadays, if you use something like ChatGPT or any other AI resources, in ChatGPT they have this app that connects it to some other resources which you can use to create videos, pictures, and so on and so forth. So prompting ChatGPT to create 10 cards for a taboo game, like and maybe that will be it on Christmas topic with Christmas background setting and design. It will give you this set of cards in 30 seconds, a minute. Maybe you don't like the design, then you will have to redo it. But actually, these taboo cards were created by using ChatGPT. And these ones also. And here we have the cards for alias game, the ones that were also created in the span of 30, maybe 1 minute, because they were a lot of words. And that is why I actually needed to check them. But first of all, you can use it with different levels. You can edit the cards and add some words that are easier or the words that are a little bit more complicated. And You can use it this year in autumn, then next year in autumn, then again next year in autumn, and so on and so forth. If you need, you can change something, but still you have this material that will take you a minute to prepare, and you will have a fun activity for your class. Some other examples here. Again, about Christmas, because I have a lot of materials on this topic. Again, once you create something like that, the questions, different tasks, they can be applied to, like, you can copy, change something, change 4 different levels, and it will take you not a lot of time to prepare, but a really cool activity for students to have. For example, if I can find here, so here you can see they are all different. For example, can we guess the movie here? The first one, for example, or the second? Oh, let's guess the second movie. You can guess it in the chat. That is a cool task to guess things using the emojis. I like it. These are the movies that are connected with New Year and Christmas. Christmas and New Year. No ideas? You're not in the Christmas mood yet. Christmas Carol. Yes, very good, Nastya. Yeah. Why in prose? There was a cartoon Christmas Carol where they were actually doing the poem, but okay. Yeah. So there are quite a lot of. This is a fun task. There are some tasks in which you have to, again, something connected with the pictures, you need to create your New Year's resolutions and so on and so forth. There was also a task somewhere here, but because it was created a long time ago, or here, you have to find the words that are connected with Christmas and New Year using each letter of the alphabet. The most complicated point here was to find the correct picture for the alphabet, because maybe somebody doesn't remember the alphabet. We do hope that everyone knows it, but things can happen. And one more activity, it's also, it's not connected with Christmas. It just looks so nice and cozy. Once you prepare this set of questions, you can use it with different groups for speaking, like, for example, traveling alone or with friends, and so on and so forth. You will have 42 questions, have a lot of options to practice. Just a second. And then we can do something like story cubes with cubes or story cubes without cubes. Actually, in the times before COVID, when there were a lot of different webinars and people could go there and get some presents, there were even have it. There were some. At some of the webinars, they offered us a cube, and you can throw the cube and play with it. But nowadays, you can use, instead of cube, you can use something in the internet, create some questions there that can be used all the time. Like here in the cube I have, you can use, there are question words, where, how, and so on and so forth. You can do it in digital format and use it with any topic you want to make people, to make students make questions, answer the questions, so on and so forth. You can do it with a cube, you can do it without cubes. Instead of a cube, you can use any other shape you want, and it will be just a fun activity, again, without too many things to prepare. Then passing the questions, when one person asks the questions and the next answers, and so on and so forth. And you also can create some stories with either specific words, only first letters of something, that when the first letters are the same in the sentence. It is a little bit complicated because we cannot use, for example, auxiliary verbs on letter N, or something like that. But we can create sentences with the same sounds. The sounds are repeated, something like tongue twisters. But again, it doesn't need much time to prepare. You just need to think of the sounds that you need to make your students use. The line debate, when students agree or disagree in turns and they have no option or whether they can or cannot choose what to say. Because if a student is the first in line or the first in the screen, he or she has to agree, and the next person will have to disagree and think of a creative way of get out of the situation. Even deep down in your heart, you do agree with this idea, you will have to disagree just for the sake of debating. Tibu and Tali, as we have discussed, 5-second story starters, meaning that you give your students 5 seconds, 10 seconds to quickly think of the starter to a story to make somebody else then create this story. So it's not that the teacher gives this task to a student, but some other students give these tasks to their colleagues, and they might have fun with it. And the last part here is, we have discussed it the previous time. Continue the text. Something is wrong here with the word. Continue with the sentences or memory chain, meaning what I had something here. One letter challenge, meaning that one person starts the sentence, another person continues it. Memory chain is like when the first person creates a sentence, the next person repeats the first sentence and creates an additional one, and so on and so forth. And we can go on for a lot of time until somebody makes a mistake. So in most of these activities, still, you will have to spend some time on creating them, but first of all, not too much time. Second of all, you can they are like very recyclable. You can use it, you can use them all the time for many different classes, many years to come. Now, for you to have some rest, I suggest we come to this fun rest and break part where you will have some fun with Olena Anatolievna.
Yeah, I hope we will. The activity that we're going to do now is fantastic, in my opinion at least. It is also a speaking activity. I have prepared that in the presentation, but actually you may not. So if you want to make it a bit brighter, so then you will need a presentation. If you don't have time, so you can just prepare some questions. You can think of the questions before the lesson, just 5 minutes before the lesson, and it will be enough. So the activity is called wrong answers only, and that is why I like it immensely. So actually, students have to give wrong answers, and they are rewarded for these wrong answers. So the activity is called wrong answers only. You're going to answer the questions with completely wrong, silly, or impossible answers. Be ready to provide wrong answers. Okay? We as teachers are not used to that, and our students are afraid of being wrong, but here you have to do that. So let's start. The first question is, what do teachers do all day? You can just say it. You can write in the chat. So whichever variant you prefer, something that is wrong. Any ideas? Playing, sleeping. Oksana Alexandrovna, our common pain, yes. Sleeping, yeah, sleeping. Drink coffee all day. Yeah, we don't drink lemon. Yes, all day. Quite right. Okay. So, and if we are wrong, then yeah, we celebrate our answer. If we are right, no. Okay, the next one. Why do people set alarms? For jumping? To sleep, yeah, just the opposite. to sleep soundly, to turn them off. Sophia, I like this answer. Why do people set alarms? Just to turn them off in the morning, to dance. Yeah, all the answers are wrong, and that is great. Okay, the next one is, why do people wear shoes? You see that the question shouldn't be complex. You can start your lesson with this activity. It's a great warm-up activity. So why do people wear shoes? Think of some wrong answers. Alexandra, because they don't like their feet. For thinking. Okay, yeah. To keep their head in warmth. Yeah. Okay. So all our answers are wrong, and let's go on. Why is the internet? So why is the internet really for? Sorry, what is the internet really for? Yeah. Why was it invented? What is the internet really for? So, let's think together. You can't think of it. To stay home, to look at cat videos. That is what I'm doing all the time. For again, in the comments, to unite people. Oh, maybe that is the correct answer, to unite people. I'm not sure. Just to add some variety to our activity, let's click on the right, and you see that, well, we're not supposed to do that. Why do we brush our teeth? To quarrel? To quarrel.
No,
Probably
it was for the previous question.
to answer the question about the internet. So why do we brush our teeth? Any ideas? Think of the wrong answers. To have a nice smile. But that is the correct answer, probably, to enjoy the process. To enjoy, yeah, nobody enjoys that. To show them to people. To show them to people. Okay. To leave dentists with no salary. So I would say that some answers were actually correct, like to show them to people. So sometimes we need to brush our teeth, but still most of our answers were wrong. And thank you for that. Why do turtles walk so slowly? Any ideas? Silly questions. You need to think of silly answers. Because they might. Oh, you have stormed the chat. I don't have time to read all of that. They don't hurry to hide their actual speed. Because they
That
might
was also a nice answer, to get a fine if they go too fast.
Yes, they might get a fine if they go too fast. So they can be fined for speeding. Yes, that is why they avoid that. Okay, so all our answers are wrong. Then number 7. What do teachers love getting as gifts? You're all teachers. All trainee teachers. Nothing. Yeah, that is probably the most creative answer. Nothing. Any other wrong answers? Student smiles. Paintings of us. Chalk. Yeah. Right. Okay, thanks. Then, so, wrong. What happens when you open the fridge? Another silly question. What happens when you open the fridge? The timer starts. Yeah, the turtle crawls out. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for your creative ideas. The last but one. Why do we sneeze? So why do we sneeze? Our brain reboots because of happiness, because of the year, to be healthy, to be blessed. Oh, yeah, that's a good, yeah. What to go? Yeah, to sneeze in order to be blessed. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, and finally, so why does bread always fall butter side down? What a philosophical question. We've been looking for the answer for our whole life, and still nobody can answer that. So, to make a mess, to force us to clean. Yeah, okay. To clean the table more often. That's a good reason. And because our life is unfair. Yeah, so probably we need to finish our activity here. Okay. So you can see that, well, I have prepared the presentation, but again, you're not supposed to. You can just think of some silly questions before your lesson, a couple of silly questions to ask your students, but the main rule is to provide wrong answers. And by doing so, by allowing your students to provide wrong answers, so you increase their anxiety, you help them feel more comfortable at your lesson, and again, you establish this positive atmosphere at the beginning of the class. So thank you here. We have done that. Olena Andreevna.
Yeah, thank you. I think we had a lot of fun. And concerning the question of preparation, you can make your students prepare the questions. That is the easiest option you can do. Yeah, and minus anxiety for the teacher. Let's continue with some other tasks. So we have writing and listening tasks left. And if you think that writing can be boring, yes, it can. But still, we can find something to make it fun, creative, and interesting. So we will start with that fun, creative, and interesting thing when you can ask your students to write a script for a story. So it may be a script for a film, cartoon, series, play, whatever. It can be connected with some specific set of vocabulary that you were learning, or I don't know, focusing on some grammar structure, maybe on some sounds, or it can be connected with the previous story you have read. And if you think that it might be just activity without any conclusion, when you don't get anything, thankfully nowadays you have a lot of options. These options might be not free of charge, but again, if you use, for example, ChatGPT, they have this cooperation with some app that offers you to create videos. You can create videos by adding there some prompts, like the whole sentence. You create this story, what is happening in your film or cartoon or whatever, and it will create. You can add some pictures there, or it can add pictures and short videos there by itself. There is drawback. This particular tool in ChatGPT, if you have free version, you can create this video, I guess one video a day, which would be quite enough for you. You cannot download it. But for people who don't want to pay money for a lot of different apps, you can always either take a screen recording, or you can record it with your phone, for example, and then show. You can actually, if you are doing it in the classroom, you can just show it in the app. So okay, they have this things around the app, but who cares? Here is an example, for example. So because I had no option how to added here to the presentation. I had to put it, upload it into Google, but that is the point. So students just wrote the script, and then they using this resource. You can even see this word preview because it was preview in the app, but okay, it was free of charge. The app created this amazing video here. You can make it with like with the subtitles, without the subtitles. Here the point was that it is with the subtitles, so students can read it while we are watching it. But the point is, it's amazing. Everyone is happy. You get a video. You can add like the pictures that you want here. This is the simplest version of it because we didn't add the pictures here. It was the only thing that we had to create was the script. The script was provided, and then I think it did an amazing job. It's quite short, but still it is very fascinating. So that is to the question that writing can be nice, can be creative, and it can also be engaging in a way. So what are the options we can think of? Blind writing exchange, when one student writes some piece of information, or let's say 2 sentences to start his or her text, then we exchange and give some other students this piece. They have to continue. So at the end, we will get a whole story, but each student will take their part in contributing to their story. To make it even funnier and more engaging, we can just give, for example, the first student writes first 2 sentences, and the second student who continues writing it can see only like 2 words or 3 words, or knows only the topic, and then they have to continue without actually knowing what happened before. But in this case, if they don't see anything, or at least several words, you have to provide the students with some guidelines or some keywords, because the story has to be connected somehow. And especially for young learners, if you participated in our webinars before, especially for young learners, there are a lot of different apps where you can create stories like that, like adding some words, and then will be nonsense stories, but they are nice, fun, and with these apps they can even provide you some pictures that will be extremely bright, colorful, and engaging. Then that is a very famous task called 6-word stories. Here in the example, so a student has to write a story, a complete story that consists of 6 words. Here the example is lost keys, mistrained, found myself, but the idea here is taken from a very famous 6-word story. Any ideas? What is that famous 6-word story? If you have any ideas, please. Alexandra?
I think it was Ernest Hemingway's story, something like shoes for sale, never kids' shoes for sale, never worn. Something like that.
Yeah, very well done. It's quite a sad story, but in general, this idea of this task is taken from this Ernest Hemingway creation, and you can give some kind of title or general idea that we can use and try to work out our skills in creative writing. The next one is approximately the thing that we were doing during our break. Here it is worst advice ever, but you have to think about it carefully, or you can get a list of worst advice ever. Actually, it's not only about advice. You can use anything like complaints. Again, the point is to make it more fun and engaging, to make it more nonsense, so connected with something that can happen in real life. But this, especially with writing tasks, because no one writes, okay, maybe some people do like it, but most people don't, because it takes a lot of time. And actually, if you at least make people write with their pens, it's going to be even more difficult because maybe they don't know, maybe students don't know already how to do it. They can only type. So the more engaging we make this task, the more options we have that students will be activated and will participate. The problem here is it is a problem with everything, not only with writing, that sometimes when you give a task like that, it's easier for students to open ChatGPT and prompt it to provide the answer. Yeah, it is possible. Yes, it can happen. Can you stop it? I doubt. Can you you can tell your students that you understand that it is ChatGPT, and you do get that is ChatGPT, but you have no proof. So the only option here is to engage. If you engage them well enough, so they are willing to participate in that by themselves, not with the help of ChatGPT, then you have done a good job. Rewriting, the ending, the beginning, the middle, the character, something connected with the speaking that we have already discussed, and speaking and reading. Rewriting something for a different level, which is maybe not a very good task for school children, but it might be a really good task for university students, especially like if you have a text in the textbook and you ask one group of students to rewrite it for level A1, the next A2, the next C1, and so on and so forth, and you can exchange the task. It sounds like a very easy task, but in reality it's not like that. Sometimes it's very difficult to rewrite a text for any level, no matter which level we're talking about, A1 or C1, and it will take some struggle and some practice. So it might be a nice fun activity, and you prepare almost nothing because you already have this text somewhere in your textbook, some home reading activity, and so on and so forth. And picture prompts, something like that. Again, we were discussing the previous time, like you have to show the last picture in your phone, but here we take the random picture, and then students have to write a story, and your only task is to find the picture, which is quite easy nowadays, and then limit the students with number of sentences or make them use some kind of particular vocabulary. For example, here the funniest picture I found in my phone was like that. So although it is in Ukrainian, so what, make people suffer and create some story based on the picture that you can see here. And that is all with writing activities, and we are coming to the listening ones. And again, I will start with fun and creative tasks here. And again, they are connected with AI, but in this case with image generators, which is also quite easy today, when like several years ago it was not that popular, and it was difficult to find image generators that would do a decent job. The point is not about decent job, the point is about having fun. So you either send some picture to your students on some particular topic, or you make students choose the pictures. So here we had a topic of like rooms, house, and so on and so forth, and we found in the internet a bed like that. Why it is good for this activity? Because one student takes this picture, and all the other students, they cannot see it. And if I take this picture, my job is to describe it in as many details as possible, while why it is a listening activity, because everyone, it's like a combination of almost all activities. While Other students are listening carefully to your explanations. You need to use image generator to generate pictures based on your description. Remember, they don't see the picture. They just try to use the keywords that they think are keywords from your presentation in order to get the pictures. And if we have an activity like that, we can get pictures like that. It's a small one, but you can see that the bear here, it's looking out into the window, so it's not the bat, but there is a bear here. And then I don't know how to explain it. Maybe the bear is in the bed, but still it is connected somehow. And then there is a nice small one, and here bear, I don't know, it's trying to attack the bed or turn it over, I don't know, but there are a lot of books and it looks nice. So actually the point here is that if you get funny pictures, you get an additional options to discuss them. And the funnier the pictures, the more options you have. But it encourages creativity, plus it gives students an opportunity to use the resources they know so well, they are familiar with, they love, obviously, like not only that, we also might love using image generators because it might be fun, so why not use it while we are having some activities. The next one, running dictation. Love it. If you have an opportunity, actually, you can do it only offline, obviously, because you need to run for that. Not you. You are not going to run, luckily. If the classroom is quite big, so you provide the students with some text and they have to run, one student will run to the blackboard, let's say, read one sentence, run back to the group mates and retell what he or she has read, so they can then write it down, again, combination of all different skills. The point is that if you have, for example, very small classroom, you have no options for students to run inside the classroom because no room for that. You can make students run in the corridor if it's possible in your educational institutions. Before COVID times, I made my students run in the corridors. The only thing that I was afraid of that the administration of university would think that I was doing not a decent job as teaching, but students loved it. Plus additional physical activities, and you don't need to run, which is the most important part. You just observe it. Observe how they run, they listen, they read, they speak, they write, the best combination ever, if you have an option for that. Whispering, again, one person reads something, then needs to whisper it, people need to write it down. It's just quite a common conception. Sometimes we do forget about it, but it is a nice way of having some activities. I don't think it is possible to do something like that in online class, but that's a topic for discussion, actually. Maybe there are some options, I just haven't thought about that. Then freeze listening, when again, if it is an offline classroom, people can walk around the room. Then when you say freeze, for example, they need to listen to only that particular information, and when they walk around the room, they don't listen to something they need to report, or vice versa, they only listen to something while they are walking, and while they are freezing, they are not to remember the information they can hear. Or you can do it in an offline classroom while, let's say, stopping the video or stopping the audio at some point, given some gaps in that audio or video, or switching on, switching off the sound to make it more different from whatever we usually do. The next one is sound stories. Approximately the same thing that we were discussing. We were discussing creating some text, for example, when you have one particular sound and then you have to create one particular story. Here it is vice versa. You need to listen to some sounds. Or, for example, students are to create a story based on the sounds. They are not allowed to talk. It's like, in a way, an alias game, but you are not allowed to talk. You only need to provide the sounds. And then all the other people need to understand it. I don't know, they walk into the forest and they see... what can they see in the forest? An elephant? I don't know how to do it with the sounds, but it's the student's job to understand it, and so on and so forth. So one student just provides a lot of different sounds, a sequence of sounds, while everyone else is trying to gather it up and get a story out of it. And spotting the mistakes. Once again, when some part of the information that has already been learned is modified, and while listening, students are to understand what is wrong. Again, in order to modify the information, you might do nothing. You might ask your students to create some activities. The point here is that, once again, we need to follow the rules. Well, when or while we are using zero or almost zero prep materials, the rules are to be creative, to observe your audience, and to make sure you can manage and monitor something. And one last rule is not to be afraid if something goes wrong, because it's okay if something goes wrong. Like, everyone makes mistakes, so you're also allowed to make mistake with your creative task. So, but you will understand that this particular task doesn't work with my group. So, okay, I will try something else next time. That is the rule, remember. You need to be creative. And if sometimes you lack creativity, you can always ask your students for help. Maybe they will be nice and kind to provide some additional ideas for you. That is the third point, asking for advice. You can ask for advice your colleagues, the internet, or your students, and you should risk it, because without risking it, you're not going to, you will have to prepare for all the classes for a long time. Actually, once again, if we're talking about zero prep materials, it's not that you do nothing, like virtually nothing. You have to think about it. You have to get prepared to use these materials, but it saves you sometimes, which is already a nice thing. And that will be it for today. We will see you on Friday for our final webinar in this series. If you remember that what topic it was about. If not, you will find it out on Friday.
Yeah, thank you so much. See you on Friday. Looking forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Friday.
Thank
See
you.
you on Friday.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Bye. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.